Senator Mark Udall, class of 1972. Mark Udall was sworn in as a member of Congress in 1999, representing Colorado's 2nd Congressional District in the House of Representatives. Recently, he was elected to the Senate in one of the most tightly contested races in the nation. One of the things voters cited about Mark was his strong commitment to ideals, even in the face of pressure from his own party to take a particular line. His lifelong commitment to protecting the environment is one of the reasons why Colorado is now a leader on alternative energy. Mark entered politics in 1997 as a representative in the Colorado State House. In the House, he was chairman of the Subcommittee on Space and Aeronautics and a member of the Armed Services Committee. Additionally, he was co-chair of the Renewable Energy and Efficiency Caucus. Mark is also an accomplished mountain climber. He has summited Kanchenjunga, the world's 3rd highest peak, and in 1994 attempted the north face of Everest before turning back in the face of a fierce windstorm. His love of the outdoors was the foundation for a successful career with the Colorado Outward Bound School as a course director and educator from 1975 to 85, and as the organization's executive director from 1985 to 1995.
Good afternoon. When I received my letter from the college acknowledging that the Bicentennial Award was being directed my way and inviting me to Williamstown, I was sure it was a mistake. But when I saw that John Reynolds was on the list to receive the medal, I wanted to be here to listen to John Reynolds and reconnect with the partnership we had for many years. Sarah, I think for whatever reason this year, the Bicentennial Medal ceremonies have a Colorado outward bound and congressional connection because we have Judge Ashby here and Mika's here. I served in the House with her partner in crime, Joe Scarborough, and I promised to share some stories about Joe with her after we're finished here. And Gary and I will figure out how we're connected as well. I also have a couple of my classmates here. I know Greg Peterson's here and Jim Colasar, and that's another reason to draw me back to this wonderful town and this wonderful community of Williams College. I was reading the Washington Post this morning on the ride up here, Sarah, and there were a series of trivia questions, John, about the Congress. And one of the trivia questions was, which sitting United States senator became a senior senator within 16 days of being sworn in to office? Well, the answer is Senator Mark Udall from Colorado. The reason I share that with you is my junior senator hails from one of the other two Little 3 colleges, and he's not from Amherst, thank God. That little school of Wesleyan. Our mayor of Denver is a Wesleyan graduate. The congressman that preceded me in Colorado was a Wesleyan graduate. So I guess we have to briefly tip our hats to the folks down in Middleton, Connecticut. But it is truly wonderful to be here. I came seriously to listen to the other panelists as much as I came to hear myself. I've heard my story quite a bit through the years. But if I might just give a quick outline of the passions that this place unleashed in me. And I think at the heart of it was both an opportunity to be free in your intellectual, your physical, your spiritual, your emotional pursuits here, and a strong emphasis on being curious. I have the best job, I think, in the world, even though not everybody waves at me with all 5 fingers. Mika's on top of this, and I know that they've arranged this in order of class here, but there's this world of bloggers. John, you're probably a blogger, right? who unleash on me every day. But I have a wonderful job, and the reasons are many-fold, but at the heart of why it's such an incredible job is I meet people every day who are undertaking the implementation of new ideas, who are working to make a difference, who really care not just about the United States of America, but about making the world a better place. And when I get curious, Sarah, about any one policy topic, I can call in the smartest people in the world, literally, to school me, to educate me, not because I'm particularly bright or because I'm particularly well-read or well-versed, but because I'm a policymaker and I happen to be one of the 100 United States senators. It keeps me young. I think my teenagers would probably tell you it doesn't, but it keeps me young. It keeps me engaged. I can get in the line of work I have very, very tired. It's to the point where I want to walk through a wall, but I never get bored. I saw in Syracuse me a name dropping because I met the interim president. I said, well, I was with another president yesterday. I'm always impressed by presidents. And in fact, my chief of staff's young son, when he was 4, met President Clinton. And he wasn't particularly impressed. He was a 4-year-old after all. The next day they were in the grocery store and a man walked by in a suit. And Alan's young boy said, hey, Dad, look, there goes another president. But President Obama's, at his core, wants to be where he is because he wants to be in the center of the action. Who wouldn't want to be making these decisions right now that will determine a lot of the course of the next decade, perhaps even the next 20 to 30 years, in areas where I'm betting on America to get it right, whether it's health care or new energy policy or recalibrating how capitalism works, fixing a broken immigration system, balancing the budget. That's just a short list of some big challenges that we have. But going back to this community here, I was in Arizona, and I later realized that Williams had a quota system for Arizonans. We were so unique and unusual. There are only 2 of us here when I came in the fall of 1960. Jim might disagree. He might say there were three of us. But about half the college was prep school based, and where there were no women in the student body here. The last year, thankfully, that began to change, and the first female class was admitted the last year I was here in 1972. The seminal moment for me was during January's winter study period when I decided that I wanted, for some crazy reason, John, to go to Colorado and live in the snow for 3.5 weeks on an outward bound course in the San Juan Mountains. And it was a life-changing experience for me. Even though I had spent a lot of time in the outdoors, my parents were avid outdoors people, most notably my mother. I even, in my campaign this last year, discovered, Mika, you'll have to pass this on to Joe, that my mom was a member of the National Rifle Association. And she was a crack shot. And I now realize, well, all 6 of us paid attention to her at home. But it was just such a powerful experience for me because Mother Nature speaks so loudly, and the rules are ironclad. You can whine, you can complain, you can pray, you can hope that things are different than they are when you face Mother Nature, but you have to deal with what she presents you. And she's empowering at the same time, and that led me to pursue a career with Outward Bound for 20 years. The only place in which I'm really angry at Williams is because the professors here made me learn how to read and write and think. And so I got drawn into being the CEO eventually. I had to wear a suit and be inside because Williams had prepared me to be a man for all seasons, if you will, to both manage a balance sheet, think in creative terms about how you market your product, and at the same time have a mission orientation where it was important to inspire people and look in the broader scheme of things. I discovered in the process my avocation of climbing and being in the outdoors could fit a vocation in this world of Outward Bound. That did also lead me to, every 2 to 3 years, convince my board, John taught me how to do this, that I needed a sabbatical to walk the talk. So I would venture to places like Tajikistan and Pakistan, Tibet, Nepal, all with the central goal of climbing a high mountain in that magnificent part of the world. And in the end, the climbing wasn't what was important. What was important was the cross-cultural experiences and the worldview that I was able to develop. Fits exactly in parallel with what this magnificent college also promotes. I had one defective gene, however, which was a public service or political gene passed on to me through great-grandfather and grandfather and father. And also on my mother's side. It turns out my mother's side, John, had politicians as well in the state of Colorado. And when it was apparent to me that I needed to embrace the outward bound concept of being outward bound, which is a nautical term for when a ship leaves the port. And even if you work in outward bound, it's time to be outward bound at some point and take adventure, take a risk and undertake new adventures that aren't familiar to you. I thought perhaps the world of public service and elected politics was a mountain I wanted to climb, and that's the story of my last 12 years. I served one term in the state legislature in Colorado, found that I had a legislator's temperament. You have to be a bit like a mule. You have to be willing to be beaten periodically. You have to be steady as she goes. You have to be stubborn. You can't take the slings and arrows that come your way in the political environment personally. But it was rewarding. Sarah was kind of mentioning my focus on and passion about energy policy. I think so much stems on us getting that right, and I believe we will. And in the Colorado legislature in my early years, I was a voice literally in the wilderness. I remember bringing a bill, and I'm hopefully some of you are aware of these concepts, but a bill to net meter, which is if you produce power off of your own resources, wind, geothermal, hydro, you can feed it back onto the grid and be paid by the local utility for whatever excess power you have. In combination, I had a renewable electricity standard concept where a state's utilities will commit to producing a certain amount of energy under a renewable electricity goal, and it's a way to make a market. When I brought that initial bill into the State House, I lost in the committee of record 9-2. I couldn't even hold my fellow Democrats. Someone said to me that I'd won a great victory in that loss. I said, well, explain to me why. Well, when I'd walked into the committee hearing room, I couldn't even get in. There were so many people in there. And the answer was tied to that situation. The person said, well, look, normally the utilities kill your bills in the back rooms. They all showed up in person today to kill your bill. Now those very utilities are huge proponents of renewable electricity standards in most of the regions of this country because they know it's the right thing to do. They can see that's where the markets are going. They can make money, and those technologies are becoming more and more central to our future. Let me just finish by saying I won a seat in the United States Senate a year ago in November. It was the longest job interview of my life, 20 months. This college prepared me for all of the challenges, along with climbing high and difficult mountains. John talked about mountain climbing as a metaphor. Dick Gebhardt, the former very effective leader of the House Democrats, once said to me, Mark, climbing Everest must have been the hardest thing you've ever done. And I said, Dick, it wasn't. He said, really, what mountain was? I said, look, running for Congress is the hardest thing I've ever done. Think about it. You're on a mountain. You have literal and figurative storms, but there's another team on that mountain trying to push you off. And on election day, you either reach the summit or you've been pushed off. And I'm reminded of the old saying the Scots have that it isn't the falling off that hurts, it's the sudden stop at the bottom. And that can be the verdict that the citizens render on election day. But seriously, the United States Senate is a wonderful, unique, frustrating institution with its own rules. And I'm still so proud to be a member of the Congress, regardless of what our friends in the media sometimes say about us. And I'm betting that we're going to get this right. We're in a really challenging time, but when it's really mattered, America's gotten it right. So thanks again for honoring me and inviting me. Thank you.